blessed. You have been chosen by God to compete for righteous glory. 8 other champions will enter, but there can only be one Moy. And now, introducing your host, Jake the Gluten-Free Careless.
What's up, my homies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men who act like children of all ages? The Missouri Kramer Society proudly presents to you the five-time podcast
of the year.
The
Moy. The Moy Ploy.
Way to go back and go for the big sell on that one. I
know,
appreciate
dude.
that.
Oh, man. We are
Boys.
here. It's week 11. We're deep in
Some
the
of us
season.
are here. Some of us are here.
Where are you? Where's your headspace right now? How are you feeling at this
My
point?
headspace is in my
season?
dynasty leagues.
Okay. I'm in another place. I don't want to be here right now.
My headspace is in my real estate. My headspace is in my own house that I just bought and got to fix up. My headspace is in my clients' projects. It's not in dynasty or it's not in fantasy football this year, but I'm still open for business. I am here to win the toilet bowl and to do whatever I can to avoid the Woy votes.
Woy number 1. Do you think you are the front runner in the Woy?
Given the fact that I've been in the championship match and gotten
And what most
second
Woy?
most Woy votes every year, yeah.
Can you remind everybody who the Woy was last season?
I think it was Todd Harris,
Whoa!
wasn't it?
Please
Or was
look
that
this
was that
up.
Rat? Let's see.
Look this up. I want to know.
All right. I'll look it up.
We'll have to look
I
it up.
gotta go
It's
back
deep.
to the history.
Yeah, this is deep, and you may have to go into some notes or some tallies.
I think it may have been my dad last year,
Wow.
although it should have been Phil.
I know I voted Phil. Woy.
Yeah, he earned it. He worked hard for
Yeah.
that.
I
And then I think the year before was this first year I'd missed the playoffs ever, not counting this year. And I think I was pretty darn close to that one as well. But I think I don't remember if any. We may not have had Woy that year. Woy might be a new thing. I don't remember. Oh well. Anyways, let's get into the show, boys and girls. How you doing? We have got a terrible episode for you today. I cannot wait to get into it. Up first, we are going to take a look at the previous week's games and break down how they went. All right. For the breakdown, let's go. Corrupt Commish putting up a career-high 217 points, almost doubling up. Only Commish can stop him. Well, he's 2-8, so he's been stopped by many more people than Commish, but Commish does live true to his word and stops him. When your second highest score, or when your third highest score is Melvin Gordon at 11 points,
11
you had
points,
a
you're-
bad week.
You in trouble, man. Dude, your team is popping off at all the wrong times.
So true.
You're unbelievable.
So what's
right
fun
now.
is what's fun about this, Peter? My dynasty league, the money league that we're a part of, the Cocky Dynasty League. I lost week 1 and won every week except this last week, and I've got a complete inverse record in this league where I won week 1 and won this last week and lost everything in between.
Everything else.
So I'm 8-2
Fascinating.
in that league, 2-8 in this league.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. All right. That's enough of that. We
The
had
game
the
of the
game
week.
of the week.
Brett.
Dude, this was a barn burner.
Monday night. It went down to Monday night.
Oh my gosh, it was exciting, and there was chirping going back and forth. Unfortunately, we have two of the most polite managers in the league going back and forth in this one, so this trash talk was like, "Oh wow, you're doing really good, Brett. No, you're doing really
doing
good, Ray.
good."
Fucking cucks, so shit talking like real men." All right, so Next line matchup we had Trevor Truss versus Team Juju on my
Bad
Chubb.
weeks for
Not
us.
looking so good for Juju on my. I mean, 182 is
No.
fine, Peter. Juju on my Chubb though. This is a couple weeks in a row, and I warned I am the podcast. It's on record.
You warned.
I was concerned about Z Warren's depth. I said this roster looks unbeatable, but the bench looks sus. Sure enough, bye weeks, injuries. This roster is looking a little sketchy. Starting
Beat
people like
up.
Derek Carr, Taylor Heineke, DJ Moore's still on the starting. Darnell Mooney, Robert
Ooh.
Tonyan, Cortland Sutton. Like
Fuck.
these are not players you really
Mac
want.
Hollins.
Are you excited
Josh
to start?
Reynolds.
Are you
Alex
excited to
Pierce?
start Chase Claypool?
No.
Are you excited to start Alec Pierce?
No.
Would you be excited to start Matt Collins?
No.
Why is Josh Reynolds rostered?
I don't know.
Why is Brees
I will
Hall?
say-
Why is Brees Hall in
I
your
know.
injured?
Out for the. He's out.
You
for
think
the
he's coming
season.
back, bro? This isn't a keeper league. Get Jamar Chase in there
Get him
and get
out there.
get a different bench. Get someone in your bench. Like this is.
I agree.
This is
Z
Roy
Warren.
type shit from a playoff team, and that
And
that
he's
bugs
second
me.
Place. A second
bugs me.
place player. He's doing. He's earning Roy votes. In second
Roy
place.
type shit from a second place player. It fucking bugs me. All right.
All right.
And the final matchup here, we had the Fandalorian, another roster that is hurting for certain, could use a squirting. And then we've got the unsolicited Dak, Crack, Sack, and back picks. Okay, did anyone see the highest score coming out of Dak, Sack, Crack, and back picks?
No.
Nah, me neither, dude. But what I want to look at is, and he does keep his playoff hopes barely alive. So he's gonna have to put up this. He's gonna have to put up this kind of points every week to really
His
have a chance, though.
QBs. He hit on Dak and Aaron Rodgers. If they both if they can both be high explosive passing, then he can get high explosive points. Then he could fight his way into a playoff picture. It would be the most epic comeback of all time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It really starts this week. He plays Brett Tet. Just saying. Later on, we'll break it down.
Just saying.
All right.
Peter, will you hit that music while I break down the Fandalorian roster? All right, so we've got Tua Tagovailoa here and Justin Herbert as the pair. Now, Tua Tags has got one of the most difficult. Keep going. Go ahead. Don't stop. He's got one of the most difficult playoff schedules of all time. Buffalo, Green Bay, New England. That's rough. Then we've got Justin Herbert, who's been sucking. I do expect him to get better as the year goes on, and I like his playoff matchups with Miami, Tennessee, Indianapolis, and the Rams. I don't mind any of those matchups there. Now, I think, though, Herbert's got to get his weapons back because no matter how talented of a quarterback you are, if you don't have people who can get open, it's difficult to get them the ball. Kareem Hunt has no business being in your starting roster. I don't know what the fuck Cleveland is doing. They didn't trade Kareem Hunt for whatever they could get for him, and now they're not using him, and he's in a contract. Like, he's not going to be there next year. They have no incentive to not use him. And they had no incentive to keep him if they were going to not use him. I don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense.
It does not make sense. Raheem, the Dream, still getting it done on the ground. And he seems to be their passing down back over Jeff Wilson, which is interesting, as their roles were opposite in San Fran when they were on the same team starting there. Then Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry's playoff schedule. Cooper Kupp being on the IR, that sucks. Might get shut down as the Rams are probably going to go from winning the Super Bowl to missing the playoffs. Who the fuck saw that coming? Terry Mack's been tearing it up recently. Olave's been disappointing. Get Andy
Tyler
Dalton
Lockett's
the
been
fuck
strong.
out of there. Lockett's been solid. Kelsey's been Kelsey. I am concerned about the back end of this bench. Like Rex Burkhead is on a team that's basically like a shitty handcuff. Like, are you excited?
Team,
If Dameon Pierce goes down, are you excited to start Rex Burkhead?
No.
Yeah.
Dude,
Marquise
this team
Goodwin.
is in a bad spot. This could quickly.
This could snowball. This could definitely.
He traded
snowball.
away Fields, dude, and Fields is dropping 50 burgers every week. Just saying.
I know.
He would have still had He could have
we were
kept
supposed
Evans.
to
He would
trade.
have had.
We were supposed to trade Olave and Fields back after a week, but it turned out that was going to look too collusive. So we weren't able to make the trade back happen to keep his roster strong.
Now
So-
you're in trouble. I don't know.
Now I'm in trouble. Now I'm stuck
If-
holding Justin Fields when I want the other Harris, who's got a shot of taking down the whole thing. I want him to have Justin Fields, but I can't give it back to him.
Do I have to take back my apology? Wow.
Oh, you're going to take back your take back? Okay. I respect it.
Okay.
I can respect it.
Let me ask
All
you
right.
this.
All right, go ahead.
I'm looking for weeks we have left. Can you?
Sorry, I'm waiting
Yeah,
for the
go to-
question.
Do we have 14?
Yeah, it's 11 is
How many
next,
weeks
then 12,
left do we
13.
have? Does it end week 13?
3 weeks. He's
Your dad's
guaranteed. He's
in.
100% in the
He's
playoffs.
done. It literally
100%
doesn't
in.
matter. He's made the play.
No.
He's in the playoffs. He's in the playoffs. He cannot. I don't think he can be
100%.
bounced because Brett.
No,
No, Brett could
let me
get the
take a look
7.
at the standings.
Brett could finish 8-5. This is insane. Break down the secondary matrix. I'm sorry, brother.
So essentially,
is hot.
my
This is
dad has
red hot.
my dad has a 95% chance to get in. He would have to. Ray is the only one who could really put him in a position because Ray's got more points than he does. Ray's the only one who could really put him in a position where he would be fighting with the tiebreaker for Brett. Now he is about 80 points more scored than Brett is at the moment, and 80 points is not nothing. That requires multiple weeks of significantly outscoring your opponent. On average, you'd have to outscore my dad by about 27 points or so to overtake him, and that's for each week of the rest of the season. So if you end up both going like 7-6, you would have to outscore him by 27 points every single week for the next 3 weeks to beat him on tiebreakers to take his playoff spot, assuming that Ray, if Ray's team ends up performing well and taking that other playoff spot. Now, there's a couple of different ways it could shake out, but because there's 2 teams on the bubble, the chances of my dad getting in and overtaken in points scored, it's very, very low. I would much rather be in his situation than Ray's or Brett's situation. But Eddie's staying alive with 1% chance to get in. According to
Your
the
dad does not
supercomputer.
have an. Your dad plays me this week, and then in the third week he plays Z Warren. What if Z Warren and the Fandalorian is a game,
Here's the deal.
a matchup to get into the playoff? That could be a.
Here's the deal. My dad's fate is exclusively in his hands. Exclusively. All he has to do is score points. He doesn't even have to win. He doesn't have to win. He just has to score points.
points. That's it.
That's it.
Interesting.
He doesn't have to win. He just has to score points, because if he scores points, it basically it cock blocks Brett from
gets
being
a
able to
cock
take it cock blocks Brett from being able to take his spot. So as long as he doesn't get outscored by 80 points over the next 3 weeks by Brett, he's in, guaranteed.
He's in.
Unless, of course, he loses out and Brett wins out. I don't know if Brett
Brett has a
Ray,
favorable
I don't know if
schedule.
Brett and Ray can both win out, but I suppose that would be possible. If
They
both
can.
of them win out.
Now that they haven't played each other, they could both win out and finish 8-5. That would be stunning.
Yeah, that would be pretty
Z-Warren
crazy.
and your dad are not safe with their rosters in any way.
I mean, Z-Warren's safe. He's got the highest points in the league. No one's catching him. 2014 points.
But if he's
4.
7-6, and there's 4 8-win teams,
Sure, that's fair.
I think it could go. Okay, I like Ray's team. I like Brett's team. I like Eddie's team. I like your team.
Right. Got hot just at the right time. The week
Justin
after I've been
Fields.
mathematically eliminated.
I know.
All right, now we've been chatting a little bit about the playoff picture. Has there been any big trades this week, Pigu?
There have. I believe there was one between your dad, Amari Cooper, and Z Warren for Juju Smith-Schuster. I think this is a bad move.
Now, here's what I think. I think that one got vetoed by the league commissioner there.
Really?
Cooper for Smith-Schuster. Yeah, that one got vetoed by the commissioner.
Really?
Yeah, I'd have to ask him what happened there, and see what went down there. But my understanding is that the trade was accepted minutes after Juju Smith-Schuster was injured. And then it was within 1 minute of Juju being injured. And then within 1 minute of that, the trade was vetoed.
Ooh.
Some spice for you there. Preview.
All right, and then was there a?
It looks like there was another one that I didn't even notice.
Eddie
this-
Disler and Brett.
This trade is so fucking irrelevant that I didn't even notice that it happened.
These guys are fighting for a chance. Eddie
Honestly,
Disler
I don't
could
even
go
think this trade
6
is
and
worth
7.
talking about.
Eddie Disler is mathematically removed from the playoffs.
Yeah, I hate James Conner too this season. Like, he's got a brutal playoff schedule: New England, Denver, Tampa Bay. That's fucking rough. I am out on James Conner. No thanks. It'd basically be a 2-week rental, and I'd be selling him for literally anything I could get on the Week 13 bye if I still needed to get into the playoffs. Because you're not going to use him this week, you're not going to use him this week, and you're not going to use him this week. You'd only be using him in the final week against Atlanta, where you're playing for the consolation bracket because you spent your value on a player like James Conner.
Dude, here's the thing. I actually kind of like James Conner a little bit, only because I was tapped into the Arizona backfield earlier in the season with Keontae Ingram, and they just run the same guy over and over again. Doesn't matter if he's having a bad night. They keep
run him for
feeding
2
the
yards.
ball.
Okay, let me ask you
But
this.
at least
For
at least you
2.5
get
yards
options.
per
You
carry,
get-
what's the math on this? 20 carries, 2.5 yards per carry. It's 50
Not good.
yards. It's 5
No.
points. It's brutal. I'm not interested in James Conner, to be honest. He is not in a contract year, therefore he is getting injured all the time. So I'm out on James Conner this year. Next year, when his back is against the wall and his guaranteed money runs out, that's when I am looking to get James Conner. Is next year when his guaranteed money is up and he's playing for a deal, because then he will play through that like, oh, coach, my shoulder's kind of stiff. I'm going to sit this one out. All right, now let's take a quick look at some secondary matrix. We're deep into Moy Woy territory. We got to break down the Moy and Woy awards here. All right.
Who's your front runner?
There's only
for
one option.
Woy?
For
For
Woy?
Woy.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Again, it comes down to your philosophy, I think. I think if it's your ship is taking on water, so you start bailing, maybe make a few new holes in the process, well, does it really matter because you were going down anyways, so at least you tried? Or your ship was going down, you did nothing about it, and you just let the ship sink, hoping that it would just magically make itself float again. So with my 36 roster moves, I noticed that the ship was sinking, tried to do something about it, didn't work out. With Brent and Eddie, Brent and Eddie, we've got two people who saw the ship was sinking and have made an average of 1 move per week to do something about that. That's 1 waiver claim per week. 0, or 1 trade per week. Personally, I would be putting Brent and Eddie ahead of myself. I've outscored both of them in points for. Brent has much worse defense than me. What I'm concerned with is that these two are going to split votes between the people who agree with my philosophy that if your ship is taking on water, you should at least try to bail it, even if your efforts end up not working, because you ain't making it to harbor taking on as much water as you're taking anyway, so you may as well try something.
I agree. I'm fascinated with
the Moy, I think, is where the real interesting conversation is.
It can't just be the best record. I don't think I've been the best manager.
I want to hear
I'm Brett
discussion
Fitzgerald. I'm Brett Fitzgerald all day, every day.
If Brett makes the playoffs, I will
look at his
lose
points
my
for,
mind.
dude. Look at his points for. He's now 5th in points for. He was 200 something points behind people in week 3.
And he's still 200 points behind Ray.
But he still caught up to 3 other people, which is pretty ridiculous.
Okay,
He
I'll
was
give you that.
200. He was 200 points behind the 7th place guy. He was so bad.
You're right. He was.
The lamb,
Fish.
beaver, steroid,
Brett-
baby,
Brett
Tet-
Fish Gerald.
This would go down as I would vote Moy. I could control his destiny in week 13. I think we play each other.
You
And I
hold
don't
him
wanna
in your
control
hands
his
like a
destiny.
baby bird.
What if I'm investigated for
You're
throwing
like,
week
here,
13?
take some Moy votes. Feeding him like a baby bird.
for the boy votes. I'm pro Brett.
I'm
Eddie
kind of with you
Disler,
there. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
also
Fuck
pro
the
Eddie.
$20 bet. Fuck the $20 bet.
Yeah.
If Brett makes the playoffs, he's got my number one Moy vote because fighting
Moy-
back from the hole that he was in is difficult as fuck. I've only done it once.
Yeah.
Feels great too. So I love that Brett's still in the thick of this, fighting
Like
for
Eddie
his
Disler,
life.
too. I like Eddie throwing up 200 in a week 11 game, not allowing any free W's.
Yeah, and he's
not
still
just
last
sitting
in
back.
scoring in the league. I love that.
I'll even give Brett some love for saying I'm not gonna just sit back. Brett's making trades. Question we don't
Questionable
we made
trades.
we don't. I do not have to see eye to eye with the trade, and I respect that. I respect that Brent was at least active, trading and trying to do something.
Yep.
And I respect that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Now, I also got to say, as far as the swindle of the year, I think Chris Olave for Justin Fields. I don't think maybe I moved down some Moy votes from there. Maybe I moved from second to third when you consider the swindle of the year there.
I thought TB for a guy with broken ribs who hasn't played was pretty legit.
I've got two swindles in there. It's true.
You got a double
It's true.
swindle on you.
And it was
Your-
vertebrae.
Your
not
dad
ribs.
goes back. Your dad goes back to the same well.
I tried to give him Justin Jefferson and Justin Fields, double Justin, compound Justins. And he wasn't interested. I offered him a very fair deal. I was like, look, this helps your roster. It doesn't really help mine. This seems like a slam dunk trade for you. And he said, no, thank you.
No.
So I don't know.
You can't help him.
Look, you can lead a Woy to water, but you can't make the Woy water drink.
Drink it, whatever that means.
You can lead a Woy to Woy water. All right. What are you looking for, by the way?
My beer. I put it down here somewhere. I guess.
Find that beer, Doug. It's
Where's
important.
the beer? It's gone.
I'll carry the show for a few seconds. Go find your beer.
No, it is gone. I'm pretty
It's
sure.
gone. All right, let's take a
We'll
look
finish
at
up here.
next week's matchups. In an extremely unimportant matchup, we have Team Juju on my Chubb versus Corrupt Commissioner. Everyone in the bottom bracket is praying that I'm able to beat Juju on my Chubb because it just keeps the window cracked ever so slightly.
Why is your total so low though?
Probably bye weeks and stuff. I haven't
Couple
fixed my
bye weeks
lineup
you got to
yet.
work through. Okay.
Yeah. The next matchup is going to be Only Kamish Can Stop Me versus My Name is Mr. Irrelevant. He's making himself irrelevant here. Highly favored to win, but again, a bunch of bye weeks that haven't been fixed here. 600 minutes compared to 780 minutes left to play. Dak Crack Sack and back picks against Ray Rat. This one has playoff implications. Eddie's doing whatever the fuck he can to keep himself alive, and Ray is trying to keep himself ahead of Barrett Tet. So I think these two games are very important. And then I'm going to give this one the game of the week, the Fandalorian versus Trevor Trust, a battle for tying of first place. No, never mind. It's not going to be that. But this is an old rivalry. A rivalry that is so... I mean, you have this rivalry indented on your forehead, if I'm not mistaken.
I got clapped.
That's right.
I got clapped. There's no hair there anymore. Boom!
It caused premature balding. Think about that. So, when we were kids, Peter decided he was going to come in my dad's house and talk some shit. Well, my dad had this big-ass Alpha and Omega ring and it had this big old crest on it on the back right here. So he turned the ring palm inwards and went whack right on Peter's forehead. And that was the day I learned that child abuse was acceptable if it was funny enough.
If it was funny enough, that's right. Boom, smack.
All right, so let's. I think that's got to be the game of the week. We've got.
I disagree.
The
I think it's
Fandalorians-
Eddie. I think it's Eddie
no,
versus
dude.
Ray. Eddie versus Ray is so important.
The narrative
because
is this: you're my dad's biggest fan, and now you're here trying to end his and trying to make sure that he misses the playoffs.
there is actually a scenario where a 5-7 team, a 6-7 team, Eddie could be the last guy in, maybe.
Plus, there's the
If
additional
Ray only goes
additional
6.
narrative where if you beat my dad, it keeps the window open for both Ray and Brett to both make the playoffs. Now, I don't think the Ray versus Eddie is the game of the week, and the reason is because Eddie's chances are so incredibly slim.
Slim? Did you say slim?
Slim, yes. Eddie's chances are so incredibly slim that it doesn't really matter if he wins this game. He's still going to have like a 1% chance. Whereas if you beat the Fandalorian, both Brett and Ray could both lose this week and still be in the hunt to tie my dad at a 7-6 record. So that's why I give the Fandalorian versus Trevor Trust the game of the week. That and the storied rivalry as well.
They're both good games. And
They
I
are
just
both
think
good
if Eddie, the fact that Eddie could theoretically, I thought he was mathematically eliminated earlier in the show. The fact that he could theoretically win out,
Theoretically.
and if somehow Ray only got to 6 or 5 wins, and Brett only made it to 6 or 5, and again, there's going to be a point push there.
If both of those teams only make it to 5, Eddie makes it to 6, Eddie's in. If Eddie can outscore, he's not going to catch Ray. If Eddie can outscore Brett and they both end up with 6 wins, Eddie is in. Those are the two scenarios where Eddie makes the playoffs. Both of those teams, Ray and Brett, have to lose out, and Eddie has to win out. Eddie is in. Or if Eddie can outscore Brett and have the same record, have a 6-win record, same as Brett, Eddie is in.
This is Eddie's remaining schedule. He plays this week. He plays Ray. Then he plays Brett.
Incredibly important game.
And then he plays Brent. If he wins, these are all. It has to.
All 3 very winnable weeks.
Okay,
All 3 very winnable weeks.
And Eddie was gracious enough to come onto this show, and he may have been.
The problem is he traded Saquon Barkley to Ray in an inexplicably stupid trade. I don't understand that trade at all.
Kenneth Walker, right? No. And Barkley and
no,
Kenneth
he
Walker,
traded Kenneth Walker
everybody.
to him way earlier for absolutely nothing.
Eddie's team, if he had kept some of his
if he had
players,
just not made any trades, Eddie would have been fucking golden.
Eddie could be in first place. What the buck, Eddie?
I want to see that Saquon trade. I just remember thinking like, what the fuck am I looking at here? Oh, I got to open the.
Ray's team has got. If Ray can't win with this team, it has to be Roy.
Oh, here it is. Saquon Barkley and Evan Ingram for Damian Pierce and Devin Singletary. I like getting Damian Pierce. I hate the Devin Singletary pickup just because now, okay, pump the brakes. Actually, with the Josh Allen injury, they might lean on Devin Singletary more heavily, and Devin Singletary could end up with more red zone touches as a result of Josh Allen's elbow injury. It's a bit narrative. I'm not a huge fan of narrative. I like more statistical analysis than narrative analysis.
MVP season. Ray has a top.
But yeah,
Ray's team is god tier, dude. If Ray doesn't make the playoffs,
it's thin though.
Go down.
It's not deep. It's not a deep team.
If he doesn't make the playoffs, it will go down as Roy in my mind. It's too good of a team. The team is stacked unbelievably.
Yeah, he's got the QB1. technically QB2. He's got QB2, QB3,
He's got Saquon Barkley,
running back 3, wide receiver 2, tight end 5. Oh, ETN's been coming ETN's fucking god tier. Kenneth Walker. God tier.
Kenneth Walker.
Tyreek Hills. Oh, he's got receiver 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Wow. And his team is only going to get healthier as Marquise and
Rashad White. He's got Rashad White too.
Yep. I think it's Rashad, but yeah.
I know. I like it. Okay,
Ratchet.
So if he doesn't make the playoffs, I vote Roy right now with the vote of confidence. I can say Ray is Roy without.
Damn, the fire. That's spicy,
and he's so close. And this last week is a backbreaker because it would have been the one again.
It basically guaranteed him a spot.
And now
because his tiebreakers are almost he's got so many more points than the next place team.
Right now, dude, the Bills are not playing great. The Eagles just lost.
Yeah, I agree. Josh Allen being injured, probably not going to play this week, which means Stephon Diggs gets a huge downgrade. That's a double negative compound interest there.
Yeah.
And who's taking Stephon Diggs' place on this guy's bench here? Marquise Brown might be playing. I wouldn't want to be starting him the first week back. Probably try and trade or drop Zay Jones and get someone else, or make a deal for one of these guys in the bye week. But
and he's heavily invested in Jacksonville with
I also don't.
and Zay Jones.
True. I also don't know if Ray needs to make a move this week. Is the thing. He might just be able to write it out. Just say, all right, all I need to do is win one of these weeks, and I'm probably going to get the playoff spot. But then again, that puts his fate into Brett Tet's hands.
Can we go to Eddie's lineup this week?
Yeah, one sec.
Let's give Eddie a chance. Eddie has the capability with two high ceiling QBs.
If Josh Allen misses
at the beginning of the year,
Allen misses, I like Eddie's chances much better. Now, Jeff Saturday is apparently the medicine that JT needed because finally had a good performance. Aaron Rodgers finally had a good performance. Dak Prescott finally had a good performance. Dameon Pierce has been turning those in every week for the entire season. T. Higgins is back, going against a great matchup in Pittsburgh. Gabe Davis, that's a bit of defense. If Josh Allen does start, Gabe Davis is a bit of defense against Ray here. Devin Singletary is good. If Allen is out though, I'm not starting Gabe Davis. Fuck that. I will take Miles Sanders. I will take I'll take Miles Sanders. The rest of this team is fucking garbage.
Eddie garbage.
You're not starting Caleb Huntley or Tyquan Thornton. No,
Eddie's
sir.
Eddie's got a bad week.
I would take Miles Sanders though. I would put Miles Sanders in there over the other one. Does Eddie even have a tight end this week?
Eddie, this is not good for Eddie.
Is Eddie even rostering a tight end?
Hold
up. Eddie doesn't even have a tight end on his roster.
What is dead may never die. He lost the tight end he traded for when Kenneth Walker, Zach Ertz, is out for the season. Eddie Disler.
Oh no.
Man, Eddie, it's not a good time.
Eddie doesn't have a tight end. Oh, that's rough. All right, well, I still like the roster. I don't like having to start James Conner against the number 1 ranked. I think this projection is fucking absurd for James Conner coming off a bad performance or coming off a good performance, but it's just I just don't trust James Conner, especially against the number 1 ranked opponent defense here. I think that projection is absurd. I would be thrilled if he got double-digit points this week for me. Anything else that we want to add before we sign off here, PQ?
Boys, keep your heads up and on a swivel. The season is not over. Big mistakes could happen this weekend, opening the door for people like Brett Tet, Eddie Disler, and always rats find a way in.
The ultimate survivalist. All right, Peter, you and I have a trade to work on, right? You had proposed to me a collusive trade earlier.
A Justin Jefferson for one of my bottom dwellers. We're thinking about it.
Let's make it happen. All right, boys.
Here we go.
I will holla at y'all later. Thank you for listening. I don't know why you do, but I sure am glad because I have fun making these. I will see you guys in the next one. Later.
Bye.